Right, so we're doing lesson 3 today, which is to be able to work out the area of parallelograms, kites, and trapeziums. As a warm-up, you've got 4 minutes to answer these questions, so make sure you, at this point, pause the video and you try your best to answer these questions. Most of these skills are skills we've covered in class, so you should be able to answer them. And once you've done them, you can check the video again, come back to the video, and I'm just about to show you the answers. So there you go. So just quickly check your work and make sure you've done them all correctly. So APK, last term, we already have looked at working at the area of triangles, rectangles, and squares. So it says find the area of the following shape. So you should be able to do this quite easily. Remember, area of a triangle is half times base times height. So in this case, it'll be half times 68 times 37, and you work out what that is. And remember, whatever your answer is, it's going to be millimeters squared, because area is always square units. To work out the area of this rectangle, area is equal to length times width. So I've got 45 times 25. Always make sure to see units are the same, because if they're not, you will have to convert the units to make sure they are the same. And so whatever answer you get there is millimeters square again. And for the square, because I've got these signs here, that means all of the sides are equal. So if that's 2.3, that is also 2.3 meters. So my area is going to be 2.3 times 2.3. And again, whatever answer you get there, it's meters squared. So just making sure we attempt each of these questions. Now, area of a parallelogram. We haven't done this last term. The formula to work out the area of a parallelogram is base times height. The one silly mistake that students make is, if I was to give you this length here of this line, and if I say that's 5 centimeters, you cannot use that as your height. Your height has to always be perpendicular to the base. So it has to always be the straight line that is at 90 degrees to the base. And so therefore, here I've been told that this line is 2 centimeters long. So that's my height. And this is my base. You can never use this one here. So that's the key to remember with parallelograms, that if you've got some extra information in the question to confuse you, you do not want to get confused. All right. So a parallelogram is a shape that has 4 sides. Each parallel side length is equal. So you work out, in this case, the area of this parallelogram would be, base is 6 centimeters times 2. So therefore, it is 12 centimeters squared. Area of a kite. So in a kite, I've got these diagonals. So one going across this way, one going across that way. So to find the area of a kite, you split the shape into 2 triangles and you use the formula area is equal to length times width divided by 2. So you can count, you can take into account this being the length and this being the width. So the shorter one is the width, the longer one is the length. And so then I do 16 times 10 over 2. Right? And so that's 160 divided by 2, which is 80. And so my final answer is 80 centimeters squared, because its area, it's always going to be squared units. All right, area of a trapezium. So to find the area of a trapezium, this is the formula. And what we're going to do is, we'll look at an example, but basically it's a little bit more tricky than the other formulas. So area of a trapezium, you work out the height of the trapezium. So area equals, so the height of the trapezium, again, remember, it cannot be this measurement here or this measurement here. It has to be perpendicular to the base. So you find the height, and then you have to add the 2 lengths here, the top and the bottom, the 2 parallel sides. So this A and B are the lengths of the 2 parallel sides. So A plus B, and you find the average, so you divide that by 2. So in this case here, if I said The height of this trapezium is, let's say, 10 meters. This side length is 6 meters, and this side length is, let's say, 15 meters. Then what I do is I do 10 times, remember when you've got a bracket it's multiplication, 6 plus 15 divided by 2, and then 6 plus 15 is 21 divided by 2, and that gives me 10 times 10.5, which is 105 meters squared. So that's just a quick example of how to work out the area of a trapezium. So these are some practice questions for you to do. I will put up the same questions on Delch Learning, so make sure you've done the working out in your book so you can put the answers in and make sure that you've done them correctly. And then a quick goal review as well. An exit pass. Kites have two sets of equal side lengths. What makes them different to parallelograms and rectangles? All right, thank you.